YouTube. So we had to do a bit of upgrading around here because that mic was like 3 months old and started acting crazy. And of course, it was outside of the window for me to return it to Amazon. But I was able to go to Best Buy, do an order online, and pick it up the same day. So hopefully you guys hear us a little bit better, which I think you do because we just checked the sound again to make sure that everything was on point.
Okay, should be good then.
We got it.
Yep.
All right. So we have a Matt Walsh, and he has a message to a trans student at a speech he was doing. So this is just a piece of it, what he was talking about. But he is going to pinpoint the portion where he spoke to that young man. You ready to get into it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
To play from last night before we move on, and I wish I could play the whole exchange, but it's too long. I have a kind of a longer clip that I'm going to play it still, but you can find the whole clip on my Twitter page. It's during the Q&A, a person who identifies as trans, who's going through transition right now, did come up to speak in the Q&A, and this doesn't happen very often. This is pretty rare. I mean, I do these Q&As, and anyone can come speak, and I'm always encouraging people who don't agree with me to come speak, and very rarely do they take me up on it. They'd rather go stay outside where they have their numbers and they can shout into megaphones and hold their signs and all of that. This was someone who actually came and spoke and stood up there, and I appreciate that. It takes courage. It takes guts to do that. From his perspective, this is like walking into the lion's den. This is behind enemy's territory. We're not his enemies. But that's how he would see it. And so it takes guts to do this. So I thought this was an important conversation. I wanted to share a piece of it with you. Here it is.
8 months ago, I was diagnosed with gender dysphoria while I was inpatient here in UW-Madison. I looked into the research and talked to doctors, and through my journey, I decided to explore medically transitioning. Because it's shown to decrease suicidal ideation, stuff like that. And since then, although I've had to deal with other issues such as transphobia and sexual assault, I've been more happier overall than I ever was before. And my question to you is, what specifically about medically transitioning do you think is so immoral that we should ignore the potential benefits? And why should I listen to you as somebody who's not a medical professional and has not experienced gender dysphoria?
There's a dishonesty behind it. Dishonesty in the false promises that they make, which is that you can attain this image of maleness or femaleness, or that you can actually become, in some ways, the opposite gender or sex, whatever words you want to use, which is a lie. It's not true. You never can.
I think I can pass. I have a horrible Adam's apple. My voice sounds like this. I still love myself. And there has always been money in making people happy, like wearing nice clothes or good food. It does cost a lot of money. That's why I can't get surgeries that would make me a lot happier.
But the point of medicine is not supposed to be to make you happy in the moment. That's not the objective of medicine.
Right.
The objective of medicine is your overall wellness. It's about treating what is actually wrong. That's medicine. And so if you are struggling to accept who you were born as, what your actual biological identity is, I have all the compassion in the world for that. I mean, I can't imagine having that disconnect in my head. It has to be a source of immense despair. But what I hate is the medical professionals who, instead of helping you with that, and instead of helping you to accept who you really are and find joy and fulfillment in it, they're trying to make a quick buck. And they're selling you false promises. And they're telling you that this stuff is based on long-term studies. And they're lying to you because it's not. There have never been any reliable long-term studies on almost all of this stuff, because the fact is that the medical industry only started doing this at such a large scale recently, so they couldn't have the data. They're pretending that they do. They're lying. And that's what I hate. That's the immorality.
Okay, so like I said, that was a piece of it. That's kind of the beginning and the end, and then there's the middle too, which you can find on my, you can find on YouTube, or you can find it on Twitter. And I wanted to show that to you because, first of all, again, I appreciate the fact that somebody was actually willing to go and stand up there and ask a question. And also, I want to show that it's we have this idea that when you're talking to someone who actually is trans or actually identifies that way and is going through the whole process, that it's like we have to choose between being compassionate or being truthful. Those are two separate paths. Those are two different choices. That's the way it's presented. But that's not the case. I think you can be compassionate and also say what is true, which is what I tried to do there. Now, if I have one regret, and this is not meant as a criticism of the audience, who were great, and really all the audiences we've had on this tour have been awesome, very supportive, and I appreciate them all very much. But I regret in some ways the applause for me at the end there. Not that it was inappropriate. It's just it's the audience's way of saying they agree, and it was not. It's not like a combative applause, but it's the nature of the forum. That's how it works in that kind of forum, and that's fine. But it does, kind of makes it sound maybe at the end like a Matt Walsh destroys type of video, and that's not what it is. It's not what I intended. I certainly hope that the student, didn't that wasn't his takeaway. It's not. This is not a matter of trying to debunk or embarrass someone. Certainly, I care about him. I do. I care about these kids who are being taken advantage of. I know a lot of them hate my guts. They think that I'm a horrible person. I'm a monster. And I get that. That's the way they see it. That's okay. But I care about them. That's why I care about the issue. Is people like that who are dealing with something real, but it's internal. It's like something in his mind, something real. And if I had a chance to follow up with that student, I would tell him, first of all, that it's going to be okay. I know he's suffering. I don't doubt that. I know it. But it's going to be okay. He is okay. There's nothing wrong with him physically. He says there that he talks about he hates his Adam's apple and his voice, but there's nothing wrong with any of that. That's him. That's who he is. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's who you are. There's nothing wrong with who you are. The trouble is when your mind is not able to reconcile with who you are, or for whatever reason is not wanting to accept who you are. And so it's that struggle to accept that is the fundamental issue that we need to try to address. As I'm always saying, it is very much on our side, which is the side of truth, is very much a message of actual self-acceptance, of real affirmation. Well, I hope you...
That is so true. You have to have self-affirmation for yourself. I mean, even before I had my breast surgery, my doctor made sure that I knew that, hey, if you're struggling with something, this is not going to help that. And I would assure him, like, no, I'm not doing it because I feel a certain way about my body. It's just my insurance approved it, and I'm suffering. So,
You're suffering.
For a doctor just to say that, hey, we're going to just have this surgery and cut it off and you'll feel so much better, that is not okay. I mean, I know Matt talked about when the audience clapped. I didn't feel that they had a sense of, he destroyed the young man in that conversation. I felt it was just, more of a support, because the young man, he needed to be lifted up in whatever it is he's dealing with, because you want to have compassion, but you also want to be able to share the truth with someone.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that I'm not 100% right now. I'm kind of sick. But she'll drag me up here if I was bleeding, and put me in the chair. But I like giving y'all 100% of me. But the thing is that medicine can't fix everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a temporary solution. And the thing is that for some reason, these people think that if I get that next drug, this will help me think better. Or if I get this sex change, this will help me think better. No, it won't. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be the better you. You can't be nobody else. You're going to be the better you. If you're born a man, you're going to be a better man. a better woman. You know what I'm saying? So drugs is not going to fix it. It starts here. It's a mind thing. You know, and what he said about, you know, that he's trying to help the young people, which is right, you know, but I thought about teenagers. Teenagers, they always feel that, you know, especially ones that live with us, that we're saying things that's going to hurt them, you know, and we're only trying to protect them.
Yeah.
And they don't see it like that. But then when they get older and they get around like in their 30s, you know, they realize, you know what, Mom, Dad, you know, you was telling me the truth. But at the time you were staring at me, you was giving me a hard time. So that's what Matt Walsh was talking about. You know, it's like they're fighting against him because he's trying to get him something real. And he's doing it in a way where he's not beating them up. It's like he said, hey, you know, he's not trying to say, hey, I won this. It's not about winning. No. I think when you win is when you unite together. That's called winning. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And we also have to remember that God didn't make a mistake. You know, we go through life and we make different mistakes, but do you live in that mistake? But I just honestly believe and know my faith is where I know that God didn't make a mistake. So when people do struggle with that, you know, we just have to really pray for them, you know, and still show that compassion.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I believe. All right, that's another one with Matt Walsh. Like you said, the full one is I think it is on Daily Wire as well. If you have access to that, but just that snippet right there was just powerful, and I hope it does reach other students as well who's dealing with that.
It's never about beating nobody's down. You know, we give people the truth and love, and people can tell when you give them the truth and the love.
Oh yeah.
You know, when it's in love, they can tell. You know, when it's sincere, they can tell, and that's what it's all about. But when you try to, you know, win the next battle, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, of course somebody's gonna put up a defense. The shields go up, you know, and you don't want the shields to go up. You want to be able to reach them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it.
Yeah. All right, YouTube. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I know you guys enjoyed the better audio this time. I know you probably heard the grandkids and some of the adult children in the other room on part of the video. But hey, we're at home and it is what it is. And we'll catch you later. Peace.